Hey, what's good, y'all? Fusion here. Vegas, Witty, Smurfy. The Convo Kings are back. And today we will be talking about the NFC West. Witty's going to go ahead and head this conversation. I'll pass it to you. I'll
Oh,
pass it
my
to
bad.
you. I'll pass it to you.
Alright. So
Oh, brother.
NFC West, I will start out 1 through 4. 4, easy. Arizona Cardinals. They're a mess this year. They're a huge mess. They just made a trade for Joshua Dobbs, and it's funny to believe that he actually will have a chance to compete for the starting quarterback position. That's actually kind of funny. But anyways, Kyler Murray, the starting quarterback, as we all know, towards ACL. If I'm not mistaken, I don't remember the exact week, but it was mid mid season, and so they'll be without him. They're also going through their first year with a new head coach, who honestly doesn't seem like this is the quarterback they want. Uh, they put a lot of money into this QB, so we're gonna see how that pays out. They also just traded Jonathan Simmons, who was looking like a, well, I'm not gonna say bust. They just never really figured out how to use him. Um, Also had to release D Hop and wasn't able to get anything for him, which is just absurd. Maybe if they would have lowered the asking price and been able to take on a little bit more of the salary, they could have got something for it. And JJ Watt's gone now. On top of that, yeah, they looking like a mess this year. But they did real well with the Texans getting that extra draft pick next year. Plus on top of this, so they'll be able to rebuild next year. I could see them drafting somebody on defense and maybe taking Marvin Harrison Jr. next year. Third, um, I'm gonna go ahead and put Seattle there. I know they've added some good pieces, but this isn't so much on them sliding back. I'm thinking the Rams might have got that offensive line in check, so this is more of them coming back healthy, in my opinion. I still think Geno Smith's gonna play some good football. Um, Jackson Smith, Enigma. I don't think he'll be starting the season because he's had that hand injury. So they're going with Tyler Lockett and DK. So I think that's a big blow. But that other receiver they had, Bobo, is actually gone off in the preseason. So we'll see uh, if he makes some noise. The defense, they're who trying to remember who was the rookie cornerback that was going off for him last year. I can't remember his name. But they also drafted Witherspoon this year. So I'm expecting their secondary to be locked down. Second place, I'm thinking the Rams are going to bounce back. They I figured they were gonna struggle when Andrew Whitworth announced he was retiring. That offensive line was a mess from week 1 and it never really got fixed. It didn't matter which quarterback was in there. Um, it just seemed like they were getting blitzed from all over. And honestly, maybe should change my prediction because last night they looked like a mess too. But then Stinson Bennett was there, so I'm not really high on him as well. Um, let's see. Cooper Cup's coming back to start out the year, so I expect a big season from him, as well as Matthew Stafford. I'm expecting him to bounce back. And number one, obviously, is the 49ers. That team's just loaded on both sides of the ball, offense and defensively. So it doesn't really matter who you put back there in the QB position, in my opinion, with Darnold or Purdy. That team looks like a lock to at least compete for a playoff position. And I'll go and pass it to Vegas.
All right, so your list is pretty much my list in terms of who's like the reasoning why they're there. So the Cardinals, I have them last, just because they're a hot mess, and then I'm putting the Seahawks third, mainly because the Rams again getting their stuff together in terms of the offensive line and Matthew Stafford coming back. The Rams' issue last year was mainly injuries, so once the Rams get back, they should be able to do well. I'm not really like high on the Seahawks still. I still think Geno will do well, but it's Geno. I still think he has his issues in terms of his limitations of seeing the field. So I still have him third, or I have the Seahawks third because of that. And then, of course, the Rams second, and then the 49ers first. I will say the 49ers' reign of just being a dominant team, I think is going to go crashing down. I think the 49ers are a ticking time bomb when it comes to just crashing down in terms of them being able to keep star players. Because once next year's hits, and that they have to start managing their money, and they have to start figuring out what to do with players, is going to become an issue for them, because they're obviously trying to get a championship now with the team that they have now. So them getting rid of draft picks over and over again, them getting rid of Trey Lance for I don't know why, like, it's obviously they're not trying to set themselves up for the future. They're trying to get something now. So I honestly don't expect the 49ers to be at the top for much longer. Yeah, honestly, could happen this year, and we see Brock Purdy just magically start playing like trash. But I don't see that happening. But Brock Purdy's been balling, so we're gonna go with what we've been seeing and him balling, and so that's why the 49ers are still number one. But I wouldn't be surprised if the 49ers start falling off. So I'll pass it to you, Noah.
I do have to agree with Vegas, especially on the 49ers. I mean, Brock Purdy's I was high on Purdy, not the year he came in the draft, but the year before, because he did look really good at Iowa State, but then a really bad year the following season. One thing about like quarterbacks, especially quarterbacks, is eventually what ends up happening after your first year, you might look good after your first year because no one has film on you or knows your tendencies. So after last year, I guarantee there's gonna be people that are gonna have his tendencies and they're gonna know what to do come this season. So I expect there to be potentially some more struggle for Brock Purdy this year. Despite him, I think he's in a pretty foolproof offense where he doesn't have to do much. He has George Kittle, he has Deebo Samuel's a great night. They will do the first work for him. But ultimately, it does come down to if he can not minimize mistakes. That's why Trey Lance didn't work out, because Trey Lance didn't know how to minimize mistakes. Brock Purdy does. That's what made him pretty good at Iowa State, is that he didn't.
I don't even think they gave Trey Lance a chance. That's kind of the thing for me. Like, I don't think they saw Brock Purdy winning. They see Trey Lance not winning, and so they put Brock Purdy in. And that's how I see it.
I don't know why they took him. If he's a project player that they took at a high pick, so I mean, that's on them. But I do understand them moving out from him sooner rather than later, because I mean, ultimately, they see him in practice the most, and I mean, he'll probably end up. Insurance will probably get another potential opportunity to start for a team, like so with his health. I mean, he'll probably get an opportunity to start again.
I'm a counter. My bad. No, I'm gonna counter both your points on this. The 49ers aren't in as bad as a run as everybody think they are in terms of future assets. See, the Trey Lance pick, yeah, it will go down as probably the worst in NFL history. It definitely will. But they've already the draft picks that they spent on acquiring Trey Lance have already been used accordingly. So, I mean, regardless if Trey Lance was the starter or not, the picks have already gone. So they'll have their first round pick next year. The C-Mac, and the other thing with the C-Mac trade is the 49ers have been getting a lot of supplemental picks, because they have a lot of their coaches are getting hired by other teams, so they've been getting a lot of the teams that picks get suspended due to violations or whatnot, or fines. They usually pick up a lot of them because a lot of their coaches are getting hired for other positions by other teams, so they actually aren't that bad in terms of draft picks. And then another thing I'll counter you is, they're gonna have to pay Nick Bosa. They already took care of Deebo. They might want to go ahead and extend him again sooner now versus later. Ayuk is the big question. They might try to trade him and get another first round pick and maybe spend another pick on a receiver. Maybe I could see that, or maybe I could see them trying to maybe extend him, because he's his production's been a little questionable considering they spent a first round, but he's picked it up the last couple years, so maybe it might be time to cash in while the value's high. But the thing is with the 49ers is what is it? They're not paying a quarterback.
Oh yeah, that's true. But
They're pretty good in terms of
they're
cap.
really banking. That's why
Yeah.
they're really banking on Brock Purdy performing. And I'm like, he was the last pick for a reason. If they figure out how Brock Purdy plays or his tendencies or why he was the last pick, then I like the biggest thing I saw with Brock Purdy was that he has a weak arm and he can't really throw it downfield. So that's why the 49ers are like trying to play around him, just doing dump offs, swing passes. You're not seeing Brock Purdy just throw it downfield and without someone either being wide open. So if teams can just figure out how to play around Brock Purdy and what his tendencies are, then the whole 49ers game plan falls out the roof. That's why I was questioning why they got rid of Trey Lance. I'm like, okay, you're just gonna assume Brock Purdy's gonna be a god? Like, I don't know.
Well, this is the truth with Trey Lance. It had to be now because at this point, him sitting on the bench isn't going to increase his trade value at this point. And like you guys said earlier, the team's ready to win now, and he's a project player. He's just not ready to win games. So go ahead, and you already got your first round picks back next year anyways. Go ahead and move on with it. Let bygones be bygones and just eat it.
But let's not shade the fact that they haven't drafted they've historically not done well with drafting in the first round. And I'm just gonna read up. I think Lynch took over in 2017, and I already knew one of these was Solomon Thomas. They didn't pay him. They let him go. He's a run stopper, but they drafted him like he was gonna be the next big name at the end. Reuben Foster. He's not even in the league anymore. He's in the XFL. Love him. He actually had a good year, but not it. Mike McGlinchey, solid pick. He's been okay for them. Nick Bosa, are they going to pay him? Because I do want to go back to.
Oh, they're going to pay Nick Bosa.
That you say that, but let's talk about a pick that they made in 2016 that they should have paid but didn't. DeForest Buckner. They should have paid him. They didn't. So I'll be curious to see.
I'll counter you on that. You know why they did that? They had a plan, so they traded him for a first-round pick, and they drafted Javon Kinlaw, and it hasn't worked out. I'll admit it ended up backfiring on him.
It's just like when it comes to first round, they're just not like that. I mean, Ayuk might be like the other pick. I mean, they've done okay, but it's like the picks they did. The picks that they hit on weren't really hard to hit on. It was just like don't mess us up kind of deal. So it's like as much as I like how Shannon does run an offense that is pretty much foolproof, and they've been consistently in the playoffs since he's been there. I just don't think. Well, one, I'll be curious to pay Nick Bosa. I'll be curious if they actually want to pay that kind of money because
they have to pay him.
Because coming for that Mike Shanahan tree, that Peyton lineage, they weren't paying people crazy money under Mike Shanahan at any of the teams he was on. So I'll be curious to see if they do carry that over. And I mean, Nick Bosa does probably deserve the money. But will they just trade him and get probably some capital for it?
Heck no.
I'm just saying they didn't pay. If you didn't pay DeForest Buckner, I just don't see them wanting to pay Nick because DeForest Buckner is a dog. He can play D tackle, and he's not just. He was elite. He was elite at that time. He was.
Elite. He's not Nick Bosa. Stop it.
No, stop. He plays. He's versatile. He plays. No, there's not many linemen that can play D tackle and D end, and he did it at a high level. I'm just saying. People sleep on DeForest Buckner because just because he plays. Remember, Bosa struggled. Bosa struggled against what team was it last year? There was a team last year he struggled against somebody. I remember who it was. He's not like he's definitely gonna get the sack, but I mean like, if you're not paying DeForest Buckner, I mean you're not paying Nick Bosa. That's just my opinion.
No, they're definitely paying Nick Bosa.
We'll see. We'll see.
Let me see something.
But so I mean, I have the Niners lower on my
Nick
list.
Nick Bosa is 25 years old. Why would they not pay him?
That's what
because they want to pay that money.
He's only 25 years old. He's not.
Well, who have they paid?
No, Nick Bosa might be one of the best. Bro, I think he's the best defensive lineman in football.
Well,
he
wrong.
is.
That's just wrong. Aaron Donald's the best lineman in football. Hey, first off.
Not Aaron Donald didn't play most of last year.
You better.
We're talking about last year.
That's just. You better say audacious. You're trying to say that you're saying Nick Bosa, defensive lineman. You're talking about Aaron Donald. Team that D tackle and sacks. You're about TJ Watt, who's after plays on the edge predominantly. A lot of
I'll
people
give
out
you
there that
TJ
you're
Watt.
discrediting completely. Not Miles Garrett. What? You excuse me?
Nah, he's better.
17
Nah,
sacks.
I'll take
You're, with
both.
no help. He had no help. He had. Let's. Oh wait. Let's run it. Okay, so I'm
He
trying to
had
name
18 and a half.
had the help. Has had Eric Arm. He had, even though Solomon Thomas wasn't like a top pick, he was a great, solid defensive lineman. And Javon Kinlaw. They're all people that he's had help with. I want you to name one player. I want you to name one player that Myles Garrett's had with him on that line. Name one player that was even okay. Name one defensive line. One. I'm asking just for one name.
Let me see. Clowney was a bust that 1 year he was there.
Yeah, Clowney was awful when he was there. Anjanobi was like, ugh. He was like there. Danny Shelton was terrible. He's not on the team. So who we talking about here? They have never the Browns. So when it comes to Nick Bosa's good, but help had help. But kind of get on topic. We can talk about it another day. But like that's why I have the 49ers lower on my board. I think for as far as like my outtake for this division, I think the Seahawks will probably be number one, just because I think. If Geno can do what he did, if he can do what he did last year, they will be. If he's back to kind of like Jets Geno, then maybe not. But they have the most complete roster. They have a good defense with Tariq Woolen, Devin Witherspoon. They have Bobby Wagner's back, so they'll be solid there. Their D line's probably not the greatest. I can't even think of a name on that D line right now. But the offense they loaded up on receivers. They have Tyler Lockett, DK, and then they got Zach Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker, and Kenny McIntosh. All three of them look good. So their offense, they look like the most complete team right now to me. Second, I'll put the Niners at second just because I do think that Kyle Shanahan. And then third, I'm putting what's his name? What's the Rams, because I do think that they will be better and they're healthy again. But I don't think they're going to be good enough defensively to stop these teams, or be good enough consistently on the offense side of the ball to be relevant enough this year. And then four, I have the Cardinals.
That's
yeah, I mean, unless Kyler Murray comes, Dobbs will be. I think he might end up at some point starting, but I think it will be Colt McCoy. He'll struggle. They'll put in Dobbs when he gets caught up with the offense. I think they have. If Dobbs can, for some reason, win games, they don't have a crazy hard schedule. It's kind of like, well, they do. Actually, that's a lie. They definitely have a hard schedule, but they can last. In fact, I think they have a chance at the worst team in the division, but be just tanking at this point because you Williams and maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. if you do that. So because of the Texans pick, and Texans might be last in their division. So I mean, they're going to be last. It is unfortunate, but that's where they're going to be. But that's mine. But yeah, we can talk about this Myles Garrett one another day, because like that's blasphemy to say he had help. That's blasphemy.
Wait. So yeah, no, you're right. I'll give you the no help. But we're going to find out this year, because guess who the Browns signed this year to be the next defensive end to him? Za'Darius Smith. And Za'Darius Smith has had at least multiple I think double-digit sacks the past year. So we're going to find out this year. There's no excuses.
They know. I'm cool with that. I'm happy they got Za'Darius Smith. I'm happy to see it, because I'll see if he can. Hopefully, he can contribute. Because as soon as they go to the Browns, those D linemen die. I don't know what's over there.
And what is it? Malik Jackson's no scrub at defensive tackle, and then they had Oliver Vernon.
Okay.
Now I haven't been.
Olivier Vernon was literally his last year. I think his last year was when he was literally. I think he was awful, because he was like I forget what team he was on. It was at the Broncos. He was good. Now they did get my boy Siaki Iga, so I'm really excited about him as a whole. So at tackle, so ended up helping out. He's got the dude's low-key slept on and should have been probably a first-round pick at one point. So I will say he will have help. He should have help this year. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm just saying Nick Bosa has had a lot of help, and he's also had a good linebacking core to back him up too. Because then that's the other conversation. He has had Fred Warner to watch his back for his whole
even
career.
If you have help, 15 and a half sacks, and then 18 and a half the next season, even with help, that's still a lot.
Yeah, I'm not saying. I'm just saying he's had a lot of help. He's not asked to carry the team on his back defensively. I'm just saying.
That's what they have with their quarterback.
I would not be surprised if this holdout goes into the season, and they might pay him. I think they should pay him, but I would not be surprised if they find a way to either get him off the books or trade him. If they get enough capital for it, they'll trade him.
They don't have a choice. What, you gonna trade 2 first-round picks for that? At least 2?
they've traded. So let's just talk about that real quick. So they've traded. Let's see, in the last couple of years, so they've traded Eric Reed. I think they traded. They cut Alden Smith. They traded Jeff Forrest Buckner. I don't think Joshua Garrett's on the team anymore. I don't even know what they did with him. Solomon Thomas. They may have traded him, but I can't. Javon Kinlaw.
No, Solomon Thomas may have walked. I think they let him walk because they traded the Forrest Buckner to the Colts.
I mean, yeah, because and then Eric Armstead. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes went to I don't think he finished his contract out. They may have just cut him, but I'm just saying that they have not historically shown to they move on from players pretty quickly. They don't hold on to players like that. They move on pretty quickly. Okay, they paid Debo, but he's not like he's getting like crazy money. You asking because remember Nick Bosa is asking for Nick Bosa is asking for to be the most player in the league.
Nah, he should. David, he should. The season he had last year, I mean, he's been their most consistent player the past 2 years. He should be the highest paid player of the team.
But is that hard to say though? The being a consistent player that they've had, is that hard to say?
No. It doesn't matter. Nah, from his point, it doesn't matter. They better pay him. But look, if I'm him in my camp, I'm like, no, I've been the most consistent player the past 2.5 years on this team. You can't even get a quarterback to be more consistent than me. Nah, they better pay him. They don't have a choice.
Well, we'll see because they haven't yet. I mean, at this point, you're asking like it's got to be done within like the next week or so. At this point, because this guy hasn't done any training camp. He hasn't been there for preseason.
Man, he don't need. He's not practicing. Go get the quarterback.
You say that, but here's the issue. The reason why I say that, one, there's always a ramp up for a reason because one, it helps you. Helps our muscles get ready to go and not like get used to like the beating that they take in an actual game setting. So he might come out there week one without any ramp up of any practice, and he could tear something because he's not properly ready for the season. Because I mean, there's a huge difference in pace when it comes to regular season and preseason. There's a big difference. So I think they should. I'll pay him if I was them, but I don't know if they're going to want to pay that bill because that's a bit, especially for a team that doesn't know if their quarterback is actually their franchise quarterback. That's a big bill to pay, especially with potentially needing to get a quarterback, and because they're in a win now mode. I mean, they're obviously in a win now mode. So I mean, like they're gonna if they feel like Brock Purdy's not that guy at like halfway through the year, they're gonna be shoppers. They're gonna be shopping for somebody. So I'm gonna tell you right now who's available that they can potentially get that might be able to start for them and help them win games. You have Jameis Winston, despite the people with the pick narrative thing, he's still a top tier back with top tier arm talent, and they've shown that they want somebody with that kind of arm with the Trey Lance pickup. So and then you also have Kyler Murray, who I know that they would potentially be the contract would be an issue, but the Cardinals could move on from Kyler Murray. You don't tell me that they wouldn't take the opportunity to get Kyler Murray on their roster before the playoffs and have it potentially.
Man, who's taking that contract?
Well, I'm telling you right now, they would. They have the money right now. They have the money. That's why the Nick Bosa signing could mess them up if they do. But also, I mean, if it does get traded, it could be he does get traded. I mean, it probably wouldn't be. Honestly, I can see the Niners being buying on Kyler because if you do the post June trade, doesn't a post June trade for him, it does cut into it saves the Cardinals money. So more likely, it'll also save the team trade for money as well. So I mean, like it's like. You know, there's so much that they have going on. They don't know what they have yet in Brock Purdy's that they don't. It's like if you allocate all your money to one edge rusher, you might end up messing up and not having a way to get a good quarterback on your roster. Because Sam Darnold,
the cap's gonna go up though.
Yeah, it's gonna go up. How much? It's not gonna go up that much though. It's only gone up a couple.
No, it's gonna jump. No, it's gonna jump again in the next 2 years.
2 years? They're trying to win now.
In 2 years.
Oh, we'll see. I don't know because I don't know about that.
You can always play around with the cap too, man. They've turning certain.
They've never been that type of team. If this was the Saints, then yes, they mess around with the cap all day. They finagle the cap every which way that they want to. But this is not the Saints. They have never been like a team like that. There's teams that do that. I think Saints is definitely obviously one, and I know there's one more I'm forgetting. That's like, I think it's.
Oh. They paid Trent Williams too. That's right. They paid him.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to pay him.
But
he's best tackle.
But he came from Shanahan with Washington, so that's why they paid him.
But so I'm just saying it's an obvious thing to make the trade, but then you get the pay with uncertainty at Brock Purdy, because again, he said you have 6 games of sample size is not enough to determine that he will be your franchise quarterback. If he plays the next games and has like balls out, then then they're probably going to make that payment at that point in time. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they wait for and to see if what they have in Brock Purdy before they make the big contract. Mm-hmm. So I mean, this will be because that piece hasn't fallen yet. At this point, it's like to me, it's going to go into the season because if it hasn't gone away now at this point, then you look like Josh Jacobs just got his contract. Saquon got signed, and Austin Eckler before the season ended. They all got one, like they were all like signed at this week. So I just don't know how much longer you can wait for Nick Bosa to sign to a team. I mean, to get a contract update if he's going to be holding out.
It's going to happen this week. Book it.
Because they have Drake. They also have Drake Jackson, who's been pretty good for them too. He had a good year last year, if I remember correctly. So he's been good this year. So we'll see how it goes. But only once the season starts, we'll see. We can probably see the next couple of weeks if he does get signed or not.